Major changes headed our way as we go from 80-degree temperatures to upper 50s and snowfall in the Sierra with rain in the valley. It's all coming in a matter of hours. As we move into Saturday, let's talk about the big impacts we're going to expect here. With the winter storm severity index, we are looking at moderate to major impacts, expecting as much as even a foot of snow above 5,000 feet. Now, this is going to cause travel delays, of course, but could also close roads at times. So if you had plans to head up to the Sierra, really it's Friday night and very early Saturday morning that you would want to head up. Otherwise, your window is closing. We're looking at some of that snow arriving as early as about 10 a.m. and lasting throughout your Sunday morning. So this is when we're going to see that time frame for you to head up. It's going to be Friday night. And then if you are already heading up there, maybe already have gotten there, you're going to be looking at Sunday afternoon, evening, wanting to leave. You may find a window closer to lunchtime, but just beware. There's going to be a lot of people looking to get down as well. And that doesn't even include any impacts that may cause from crashes or spinouts. Now, as we're looking at this, we're also expecting to see some very cold air moving along with it. Now, winter storm warning has been issued by the National Weather Service. That's been upgraded now from a winter storm or winter weather advisory that was issued just the day prior. Now, we are expecting to see as much as 5 to 12 inches, but the peaks and the ridges, as well as those ski resorts, could see as much as 1 to 1.5 feet of snow. Now, we could see some of the snow levels dropping as low as 3,000 feet into Sunday morning, but that's if there's still any moisture left over. Now, we are going to look at wind gusts as high as 30 to 50 miles per hour, and this all takes effect Saturday at 11 a.m., lasting until 8 a.m. on Sunday. Now, you can see on the leeward side of the mountains, just over the Sierra Crest there, you're looking at that shade of orange tan. Well, what we're looking with that is more winds. A wind advisory being issued there as we are expecting high winds over that crest into Sunday as well. So we'll get to that in just a second, show you how high it'll get in the valley as well as the foothills in Sierra. With heavy rain in the valley, we could see as much as a ½ inch to even an inch of rainfall. Higher totals near those foothill spots and just below that marker where it turns to snow. Now, the strong wind gusts will just be across most of the region. That's from the coastal region there through the coastal range up into the valley as well as foothills in Sierra. Everyone getting the wind as we start moving through Saturday. We're also looking at thunderstorm chances Saturday. This is going to be primarily after we start to see most of that front passing through. As that front passes through, we start getting a bit of clearing. And when that clearing happens, it starts bringing so much colder air along with it, but also that sunshine joins in, causing instability. And that's where we can see some thunderstorm chances from Sacramento north. Of course, we'll discuss that as well. Now, the high pressure system that's been in place, bringing those nice mid to low 80s throughout your Friday, that is weakening, and that is going to start shifting toward the east overnight. We're already seeing, as of Friday night, that low pressure system off the coast there, bringing in that rain for the Pacific Northwest, and now just touching into areas around 9 p.m. of that wet weather into the northwest portion of the state. We're already getting a few of the clouds beginning to build inland, and that'll start bringing in the moisture for us as early as around 5 a.m. Could be pushed as late as 7, depending on if this low pressure system begins to stall out as it approaches the shoreline. We're looking at the clouds beginning to move in at 9 p.m. just there near Clear Lake and areas of Chico. It will continue as we get closer to midnight around the Sacramento area, and then just behind it, you see just a tiny bit of that green there. That is that rain that'll begin approaching us. Again, we still have a matter of hours to go, but closer to about 7 a.m. for the Sacramento area. Looking at the wind gusts, well, around 6 a.m. you can see that fine, nice defined line here. This line where you see the strong winds and then almost no wind, well, that is where we see the front coming in at 6 a.m. You're seeing some of the strongest winds near Oroville and Marysville. That's where they're also starting to get that rain around 6 a.m. And then it starts to pick up for us near Sacramento closer to 6:37, as we're also expecting to see those strong wind gusts along with the rain. So not only are you going to get dumped on, you're also going to have to be dealing with the wind gusts. So if you're planning on driving in that, just make sure you're giving yourself enough time to get out and just take it nice and slow out there on the roadways. Otherwise, just enjoy a nice day in. I know it's May and you're thinking, hey, it's spring. We're almost approaching here summer months, but we still have one more storm to go. We might not have just one. It might be another one. But at this point in time, as we look about 10 days ahead, it is just one last storm. It looks like we're actually going to start heating up back into 90-degree temperatures the following weekend. All right, let's talk about the winds continuing over that Sierra Crest. 38, 47 mile per hour wind gusts at 11 a.m. I mean, very strong there, blowing snow, and you're going to see very low visibility. So keep that in mind as well if you had plans to head up. You may just want to avoid Saturday altogether. And then those winds do continue to move over toward Reno. Moving to Sunday 4 a.m., things start calming down for a lot of the valley spots as that front has passed through, but we're still looking at gusty conditions in the Sierra. All right, taking a look at our timing now. This is where we're going to really time this out for you and plan your day. A lot of people had plans in the morning. Unfortunately, as we get to 7 a.m., you're probably going to get interrupted by a lot of that rain. Now, the yellow, the orange there, that's where we're seeing some of the biggest downpours. You're seeing that around Yuba City at 7 a.m., some spotty rain around Sacramento, but not really quite into the Roseville area, Lincoln, Citrus Heights just quite yet. You're going to expect that around 7:38, but take a look at Santa Rosa and just offshore, some very strong gusts also pushing through, as well as that heavy rain. And then we'll finally see around lunchtime almost everybody getting that complete downpour as we start getting through the mid-morning hours into the early afternoon. That's the time frame we're pretty much expecting to get the most rain. So if you have plans again, just try to move around the 9 a.m. hour, 10 a.m. hour until at least about 2 or 3 o'clock. That's where we'll see some of the heavier rain push through. And then the Sierra starts to see the snow beginning to pile up. By 5 p.m., everyone in the Sierra is getting that snowfall. Meanwhile, the valley starts to part with the clouds, and you're actually seeing some areas of sunshine. Stockton, Modesto still in cloud coverage by 5 p.m., but this is where we start to see sunshine. With that sun is going to come unstable weather. That's where we could see some pop-up thunderstorm chances. So keep that in mind. About 15 to 25% at this point in time to see one. Doesn't look too impactful, so hopefully we can dodge that completely. But we're still looking at a lot of those snowfall rates continuing anywhere from 1 to even 4 inches an hour. So a lot of snow in a short amount of time. Getting to lunchtime on Sunday. For the most part, if you're traveling on 80, you're actually looking pretty good by the 11 a.m. hour. If you're in South Lake Tahoe, you may have to wait a little bit longer as that system just passes them, maybe around lunchtime, noon to 1 or so. You could probably start heading off 50. Also, Highway 4, not a bad option as well. Okay, let's take a look at Monday and toward next week. That's where we start seeing a lot more clearing and then gradual temperature increases. We're actually pretty chilly this weekend in those low 60s, turn mid 60s. And then finally 70s, turn 80s, and even 90s on the way as we move toward the following weekend. Taking a look at your severe weather outlook, thunderstorm chances mostly north of Sacramento, as mentioned before, all the way up toward areas of Oregon, off the coast near Eureka. But everything from the Central Valley and south toward Fresno, you're actually looking much better, a little clearer, so not so bad there. All right, let's talk about the potential for rain totals. We're still looking at anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch of rain, possibly through a lot of valley spots. And as you look at the foothills, anywhere from an inch to almost an inch and a half of rain is possible, with much higher totals as we start getting to that borderline 3,000 foot mark where we're starting to see snow and rain combinations. Okay, so here's where we're kind of getting a little bit of different mixed signals happening. The global model here is showing as much as about 19, 20 inches of snowfall. You can see that near Donner, Tahoe City, 16 inches, Truckee, 14. Now, we're also seeing some estimates say as much as just about a foot of snow. So we're waiting, but then the European model says, hey, global model, I think you might be onto something. I think we're looking at similar numbers here, 18 to 20 inches. So it's kind of flip-flopped, but we're seeing similar numbers all around. So that's where we're kind of sitting here looking at maybe about a foot and a half of snow. It could be possible, especially if we see the system stall out and continue to produce more of that snow at high elevations into Sunday morning. Lower elevations, even Forest Hill, maybe see as much as 2 inches. So a little dusting there. Even Pollock Pines, they're saying 5 inches. We're going to have to wait and see. This is where it gets dicey, because if that snow level begins to drop early into Sunday morning, we could see a lot more snow at some lower elevations. As low again is about 3,000 feet. Now, taking a look at our jet stream, the 500 millibar chart, that's half of the atmosphere, the jet stream moving through, and the half the atmosphere mark here is showing that trough beginning to push into California. And this is where we get all of our wet weather right there. And just behind it, notice we're seeing a lot of red. Yeah, red typically indicates warmth, so right behind it, we begin to gradually warm up toward next week. And in fact, it looks toward next weekend, we start to get really warm here and stuck into a high pressure pattern, which will be giving us temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. So stay tuned for that. But this is something that's kind of interesting to show you. Your futurecast temperatures. About 54, 53 degrees. That's expected to be the overnight low from Friday into Saturday morning. This is where temperatures drop off. 52 in Modesto, 49 in Placerville. But tomorrow's daytime high for Saturday is expected to be around 56 degrees. So not much of a difference from the overnight low to the daytime high. Pretty consistent temperatures all around. Then we start clearing out with the clouds. That blanket of cloud coverage is gone. That kind of insulated mid 50s begins to leave. By Sunday morning, we start to see temperatures dropping even as low as the low 40s and maybe even upper 30s around Sacramento, 39 in Auburn, as well as Sonora. So we're looking at much colder temperatures into early Sunday morning as we start seeing that shift happening. All right, let's talk temperatures in those foothills for Saturday. About mid 50s out there, upper 50s in Ione, 43 in Truckee, about 52 in Auburn. And then the Bay Area, if you had plans there, we're also looking at very similar numbers. Even the Valley looking at those mid to upper 50s, maybe a few low 60s, but it's really that entire blanket of cloud coverage over the entire region that's keeping all the temperatures very similar. With your 10-day forecast, here's where we start seeing our changes. The upper 50s to low 60s become mid 60s, then 70s, then 75, 80, 85, almost 90 there as we move from Friday to Saturday, and plenty of sunshine still on the way toward next week. We're just getting through really one more day of wet, stormy weather before more sunshine arrives.